just picking it randomly. So what does it mean to you, mate?
Oh, look, to me, I think it means, either using the enterprise manager or EM, as we call it in the trade, image off of marketplace with some agents out on the databases, or using the new operational insights pages that we now have actually in OCI, or even just using the building console that comes with things like autonomous and the DBCS services. So that's what it means to me. Somewhere I can see everything on pretty much one page.
Yeah, JR, you probably got a different perspective on that.
Well, yeah, it's I totally agree with Jason. Databases are typically complicated environments in large and small organizations. So, the ability to manage it is really important. So that single pane of glass. So that's sort of the viewing and sort of how you do other things. But, my background in consolidation in financial services in banking, there's hundreds of databases around in these organizations. So we went down a path of standardized platforms, standardizing on Oracle, schema consolidation, and then that evolved into multi-tenant and pluggable databases. So, we've got customers who've been doing that for 5-6 years now, since 12.1. We'll get on to autonomous, where that's an element of, consumers use that. So, it's trying to, get the consolidation density, get better resource usage by the pluggable containers, pluggable architecture. So
it's nice. A few years ago we expanded that, didn't we, from 1 free to 3 PDBs for free. So that's quite nice.
Well, exactly. So I was about to. I think that's something. It's a license option, but you can use 3 of them in any database that supports it. So I think it's definitely something for people to look at. It's really
Cogs,
cool.
Not being a database person.
Did I say that?
I thought I'd get in there, right?
I misread it. I thought it said manage multiple databases as none, which is exactly what. So
I thought this was a NoSQL session, did you?
I don't want to manage a database at all. I use databases all day long, every day, but I don't want to manage them at all. So obviously for me, autonomous comes to mind from not managing it. Having said that, there is a bit of an element of, what's in where do I find stuff, and a security model that is, consistent, because there's nothing worse than scratching around for, passwords or REST API stuff, passwords. So for me, there's a little bit of that piece, but now I'm more than happy not to manage it at all. So thank you, Oracle.
I think that is where the pluggables come in as well, because you do have the DBAs managing the container and the platform. And then even in an on-prem world, someone just creates a pluggable database and all of those capabilities.
Well, I guess that's a question for you, JR, because to explain to people how autonomous does use that technology. So it's what you're talking about, but autonomous is actually using that in the background. I mean, it might be worth just quickly explaining that when I say quickly.
So before we get into a bit more, I just want to just jump in, because the other element that we sort of talked about from managing multiple databases as one is there's a lot of work around automation and DevOps. So actually doing that as a single point and click with Terraform, TerraGrunt to manage multiple environments just means that, hey, there's I don't necessarily it becomes a fleet of cattle as opposed to pets that I care for. Means that I don't have to worry about whether there's many or just a few. So